There once was a ship that put to sea. The name of the ship was the Billy O.T. The winds blew hard, her bow dipped down. Below me, bully boys blow. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. She'd not been 2 weeks from shore when down on her a right whale bore. The captain called all hands and swore he'd take that whale in tow. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Before the boat had hit the water, the whale's tail came up and caught her. All hands to the side harpooned and fought her when she dived down low. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. No line was cut, no whale was freed. The captain's mind was not on greed, but he belonged to the whaleman's creed. She took that ship in tow. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. For 40 days or even more, the line went slack, then tight once more. Our boats were lost, there were only 4, and still that whale did go. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. As far as I've heard, the fight's still on. The line's not cut and the whale's not gone. The wellerman makes his regular call to encourage the captain, crew, and all. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go.
Eyes and flames call my name. I freeze, I burn, I flame. I love, I hate the same. on my face. I cannot hide from the mistakes my parents made. I made from love. Selfish motive was I needed to go wrong. Polarizing hair and pain, pumping through my veins. Me, I only fuel the fire. But is it wrong for me to fight against the balance of my power?
Start here with Close Connections. My show has gotten changed to Saturday. I'm really happy to be here with my lovely assistant. She wasn't such a good assistant, so I had to fix her up a little.
Yeah, she even got the sword ready anytime I mess up. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Sanjana. I'm also on The Reality Is as well. Thursdays, not to self-promote that show.
Good job, good job.
And before I forget, please do check out our latest edition of our magazine. You can find it on the website. It's being promoted on our social media as well. And we are one of the finalists for Canadian Ethnic Media Awards as well. So amazing job to,
Yay.
yeah, amazing job to all of those writers, editors, designers out there who helped us. Thank you to the entire team. And please do check out our hard work on our social media and website as well.
Very good. And I just want to share this lovely poster that was put up. This is our talent show, and it is November 21st. Yeah. I'm doing my best to be there. I got an Ascension workshop, and Semi's like, you have to be there. So I will do my best.
Or else she'll pull out the sword.
I'm taking this with me just in case.
And yeah, everyone, happy Halloween in advance as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're very excited to kind of be talking a little bit about that as well. So thank you for bringing me on to talk about that topic.
I love having you because it's like I just got to go, what's going on with Halloween? Go get it, Sanjana. So what did you think when I said, hey, let's check out Halloween?
I was really excited because I'm like, you know, I'm in grade 12 and this is like my final year to kind of celebrate Halloween without being made fun of, you know, by society. I mean, I still might get a little bit of backlash because I'm in grade 12, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Gotta celebrate that Halloween spirit as well.
Yeah. Are you going door to door?
I'm going to go door to door, I think, and I'm going to go to a haunted house. Very cliche, but
Uh-huh. Do you take a pillowcase or just a little bag?
I think I'm gonna take a bag. I might invest the money.
Oh.
Might actually purchase a Dollar Tree
Yeah.
bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, and go around in my fairy costume.
Sweet. Oh, fairy costume. That's funny. I took my daughter out one time when I don't know, she was about 3, and I took her out with my friend,
Yeah.
and the friend was dressed up as Snow White, and
Oh,
she was dressed up as a fairy, and we went to this one door in this townhouse complex, and the guy was watching the game inside, right? And he gets up, and he's a really big guy, and he puts
Oh,
down the
no.
scariest mask ever, right? And he comes to the door, and they all go boo, and he's like,
no.
"Oh." And we got the candy and everything, right? And
Oh
they
my
went
God.
away so proud. We sure scared him.
Scared the big man.
With the scary mask.
The roles have been reversed.
It was. I was like, this is good. So what did you find out about the Halloween, the origins of Halloween?
I was actually pretty interested in when I like started doing some research because it actually originated from like the festival of, I don't know if I'm saying this right. I think it's Samhain.
Samhain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is like a Celtic festival, where people would like light bonfires and wear costumes just to ward off evil spirits. And it's really interesting how now in modern society now it's being celebrated like, you know, trick or treating and, you know, getting candy and all these things. So we're kind of keeping those traditions alive.
So I'm gonna ask
Yes.
about that. They'd all dress up in the costumes to ward off evil spirits, right? So why would they want to ward off evil spirits on that particular night?
I'm not sure why that particular night. I do know that it was the evening before that particular holiday, which was Saints Day. That evening was called All Hallows Eve, which sounds like Halloween. And they would actually, you know, sacrifice animals, and they would even wear the heads of the animals as well.
Just animals?
Yeah, just animals, or maybe more.
Yeah, maybe more.
Maybe more.
So what I know is it's
Yeah.
like the thinning of the veil, right? Because, you know, we live in this dimensional place, and like, you know, some people can see other spirits
Yeah.
and hear other spirits and know other spirits are around. I've been doing healing work for 25 years, so I definitely know that there's two worlds and even more that we don't know about, right?
Yeah.
But it's like it's the thinning of the veil. This is tonight is that actually tomorrow night, because it's All Hallows Eve, is the thinnest that it's ever going to be throughout the year, right? And so it allows the evil spirits to come in. That's why they
Interesting.
dressed up, to ward them off, because they can come through and energetically get attached to people, right?
Interesting. And why is that more prominent like this year?
Why more prominent? Well, because we're in the year of ascension, and God only knows what's going to happen after this Halloween, right?
Yeah.
But it's like the energies are getting so high. I don't know
Yeah.
if people out there in our audience have
Yeah.
noticed that, like, a lot of people are tired.
Yeah.
You know, like my mom, she got really tired, and she knows me well, right? And so she's been really, really tired, and she goes to the doctor, gets all these tests, they all come back clean, right? And you know what she says she's going to do? She's going to phone her daughter Lori and find out, is it the moon, is it the planets, what is
Yeah.
it? And I kind of giggled because, wow, Mom, like there's all these planets that were retrograde, right? And now they're going forward, but we just went through a big full moon, and now we're going
Yeah.
into a new moon. So I always look when people are getting not well,
Yeah.
because they're tuning into that vibration. And you know, the lowest of the vibrations are even feeling like something is like different.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, I know when I do emotional clearing, right? It's like people get tired afterwards, and then they get hungry. And the reason is we think that we're holding on to all these emotions, but they're stuck to us, but really we're holding on to them. And when we let them go, we get really tired.
Yeah.
So I just cleared my mom this morning of just 4 emotions over the phone. And she's like, why am I so tired now? And I'm like, because we've been holding on to all these things. Like, I think her words were overwhelmed, disappointed, sad, stressed, stuff like that, right? And when she just did a little bit of breathing and let it go, it's like now she's tired. And this is what's happening planetarily. All the moons and all the energies are
Yeah, because you're like releasing all of those things that you've been
with
keeping in you for
holding
so long.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting. And it's so interesting how that, you talk about the spirit world and, the universe. Like we always say, we're so connected with the universe. And it's so interesting to see how that plays out. Like on a regular basis and on Halloween as well. Like that's really interesting.
Yeah. So we are the universe, right? We're
Yeah.
all the I am and the I am presence. And
Yeah.
every man, woman, and child on planet Earth, and we're all connected in that way. And so it's like whatever you're creating in your world, right? If you're an angry person, you're going to go out there and create anger.
Yeah.
Or if you're like, we'll say that anger or the hatred or whatever, right? And so what attaches to you, right, is all the lower vibrating energies that
Yeah.
manage to slip through the veil, right? And they're
Yeah.
like, hey, Sanjana, you look tasty.
And they're like the demons, right?
The
And
demons,
the ghosts and
the ghosts, they're like, there's a lot of discarnate souls, right, that never made it to the light. And the more that they stay in that place, right, the funnier they look, right? Like, because I was driving to my house, and I live up on like near 28th or 24th and 168, and there's Best Market there, right? And I'm sitting there waiting at the light, and this half man, half dog thing runs in front of me, but in the spirit world. And I don't really see things a lot, but I was like, what was that?
wow.
Right?
Anyone that looks like me right now?
Yeah, well, not right now, maybe later.
Maybe later. Oh no.
I'll go downtown.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
For a little bit.
yeah, it's important to keep your place clean, keep your vibration clean, keep your energy system clean, right?
Yeah.
Your emotions.
Or else you fall vulnerable, right?
Yeah, you're like the all-you-can-eat buffet.
Oh no. I want to go to an all-you-can-eat buffet, not be the all-you-can-eat
As long as
buffet.
it's tasty.
Yeah, but it's really interesting also how from such a long time ago these traditions have like even passed on to like North America as well. Like I was doing some research and like even the Native Americans and their customs kind of merged with like America's, like because it was a colony at the time, right? So they would have music, they would have celebrations, they would have harvest as well. So I feel like there was like some joy as well, like
Absolutely.
harvesting and celebrating like the crops and all that stuff as well. And it's really cool to see how that kind of plays into this day as well, like all of those festivities.
Yeah. And so did you look up how it got turned into a candy fest for the kids going door to door?
I know that it began. I know that Halloween started to arise more because like we had like more immigrants as well, like from the Irish potato famine, like they got more people, so it was more celebrated. And then they started having dress ups, like they would put animal heads on them. And I think it became more of a community event or of sorts, like if I'm not mistaken, like where they would ask for food or money. And I guess children would get kind of like a kick out of that as well, but I'm not sure if that's the exact reason.
What about trick or treat?
Trick or treating?
Did you check that out?
I didn't get to that. I think it's because like just like that sense of community, I guess, like and just sharing. That's kind of what I read up, but I feel like there's maybe like more reasons too.
Yeah, I think that our audience should go look at what that's about, right?
Yeah.
What is that trick or treat like? And I don't want to give it all to you, right? I want you to go out, and I think it's important to research, like this fine young lady here did. And just go look and research about Halloween, research about a lot, maybe starting with the candy bars. Do we have anything more about Halloween that you want to share?
Just basically, I guess like during the 1920s, 1930s, it became more community based, more entertainment based as well. They would have like I think in the 1920s and 50s they started doing trick or treating in the community. And then I guess around like 1978, that was when one of the first Halloween movies in the franchise started coming out.
All the scary stuff.
All the scary movies out there. That started arising as well. Like I think the first one was about I think it was about this boy who like murdered his sister, his 17-year-old sister, all fun stuff. And then he was committed to jail, and then he escaped as a teen on Halloween night, and then just basically targeted his home at that point. Hopefully it's not a fact-based movie, although it could be, maybe.
You
Who
never
knows?
know.
Who
You never
knows?
know. And so I just want to share with the audience one thing that people don't realize,
Yeah.
right? Because as an emotional alchemist, and I took NLP and timeline therapy and that, it's like the unconscious mind doesn't know any different from reality to
Yeah.
watching a TV show.
Yeah.
Right. So what they're doing with the movies is they're planting that stuff in your brain, right? So all of a sudden, all these vampires and werewolves now come into your consciousness and maybe into your dream time
Yeah.
because you don't know the difference, right? Or, you're out there watching whatever kind of movies, right?
Yeah.
It's all in your consciousness. So I just want to share it because in this night, right, a lot of people do dark ceremonies, right? That
Yeah.
are like to put dark energies around the planet, right? And I'm just going to share my one little, for instance, right?
Yeah.
About 4 years ago, I was working with my friend. She's a psychic, right? And
Yeah.
we had the sacred fire there, and I had an altar, like we make it with the flowers and the water, and we had the fire there and crystals and that. And this one time, my daughter has crystals, but she doesn't really interested in it, so I
Oh,
keep them
man.
for her. I know
Yeah.
I keep them for her,
I would
right?
keep it.
Yeah, and so this time I put them on the altar, and at about 20 to 12 o'clock, because 12 o'clock is like the witching hour, right?
Yeah.
And so we're the good little witches. We're gonna go see what the bad little witches are up to, right?
Yeah.
And so, but 20 to 12, 25 to 12, I'm like, I get this feeling that my daughter has come into the room. And I was like, why isn't my friend saying anything? Because, she's the psychic, right? And
Yeah.
she says nothing, right? And so for quite a while, it bugged me what's going on. And then she started to work, right? So she started to look in this direction. She goes, let's have a look in this direction. So she's looking psychically, what's going on?
Yeah.
Okay, nothing, right? And then she turns and looks this way.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she could see what they were doing. I won't get into that, right?
Okay.
It's not
Interesting.
very nice,
Oh,
right?
no.
And so
Okay.
we just started cleaning and cleaning and cleaning and cleaning. And good old Surrey, right? I didn't have Surrey shut off in my phone.
Yeah.
Well, Surrey shut off my phone because it heard me say, oh, I like to get some sleep between, in the evening, right? So
Yeah.
from 10 till 7 p.m., it shut my phone off. So
Oh.
my daughter's friend was trying to call me, and the RCMP were trying to call me because my daughter had been in a car accident and pretty much died. She had died and then went back into her body, right? So when they got her to the hospital. She was not well, right? So
Oh, wow.
thanks, Surrey,
Oh,
right,
wow.
for shutting that off. They couldn't figure out why they couldn't get a hold of me, but I
Yeah.
would blame Surrey for that one, right? And I just found out that, yeah, the time she came into the room was the time that she had the accident.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, well, good thing that the altar was there and the fire
Yeah.
was there, and we had lots of power in the room that she could take up that power and go back to her body and stay alive.
Interesting. Wow. So you saw your daughter's spirit?
I
And
didn't
just-
see it, I felt it.
You felt her spirit.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. And then because of basically, I don't know what to call it, ceremony.
The
or-
ceremony, but it's the
Yeah,
power because we're
the
creating
power.
the power with the crystals and the grids. It's like
Yeah.
a circle grid and then leading to the fire.
Yeah, it just gave her enough energy to return back. Like it's
Yeah.
so interesting. Like what if you weren't doing it at that time? Like
Yeah.
that's amazing kind of.
It's a coincidence, right? So you
Yeah.
also look, okay, the dark sees everything, right? Just like the light sees everything on both sides of the veil, right?
Yeah.
And so they seen what we were doing. What's to stop, even though it was lots of rain, right?
Yeah.
What's to stop that, right? Like if she had been in the accident and then I got called, we wouldn't be able to do the work,
Yeah.
right? That
true.
whole ceremony would have been closed, but in not being able to close that, we were able to do all this big work for the planet.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
So thanks, Surrey, but stay out of my phone. Yeah.
But wow, kind of like fate, maybe a little bit.
Yeah,
like,
it would all-
had to work out.
It
like
all had
that.
to work. Everything
way.
is perfect no matter what it is, right? But
Yeah.
it's like, at the same time, I just look and I was like, I was pretty good. I sensed her energy there. And when she
Yeah.
told me about the accident, I was like, I knew it.
Yeah.
It only confirmed that, right? That I was right? Like that. And I was glad that her crystals were there. And, because I know stuff happens, right?
Yeah. That's amazing. I remember my dad having like angina pains, like heart problems. And he luckily he was able to catch it in time, and apparently he had 100% blockage.
Cholesterol?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he could have easily died, like and we couldn't have prevented it, but somehow it was 100% blocked, and yet he still was alive. So it's just like I don't know, fate. It all kind
Fate.
of works out in some way.
Yeah,
The
meant to
other.
be here, right?
Yeah.
He's lucky because I've been with somebody that had not quite 100% blockage, right?
Yeah.
But he went down in my yard. He
Oh,
was
wow.
cutting wood up, an older guy, right?
Yeah.
And we called the ambulance, and they come and got him and everything, right? But it was like, wow, that's pretty interesting, right?
Yeah.
Scary a little bit, right?
Near death experience.
Near
right?
death experience.
But yeah, it's interesting how it all kind of works in some mystical way.
Yeah. So I just want to wrap up a little bit of the Halloween stuff. I'm going to pull some tarot cards. So that's what I am
Oh,
today. I'm a tarot card reader.
interesting.
Yeah, that's my Halloween costume.
You have to
Looks
put on
good,
the
eh?
persona.
Yeah, my persona. There it is. But first we're going to investigate, okay, I would say go investigate Nestle. Who owns Nestle? What else do they own? The candy companies. And not just with the candy, but with all products.
Yeah.
Go read them. I can't read this, but I'm gonna get my fine assistant here to
Oh my
read out
God.
the ingredients.
Okay.
The English, please.
Okay. That's the only thing I can do, unfortunately.
Good. So this is a Kit Kat bar.
Yes, and ingredients in it is milk chocolate, sugar, milk ingredients. This is all in brackets. Cocoa butter, cocoa mass, whey powder. I don't know what that is.
That's a dairy product,
Oh,
right? Like
interesting.
a protein powder.
Oh, okay. Lactose, soya, lecithin,
Lecithin.
thank you. Polyglycerol.
What's that?
I have no idea.
Exactly.
That is
Next
the
one.
first here. Polyresinolate.
Yeah, and what's that?
No clue.
Yeah.
And natural flavor.
And what's that? Natural flavor is anything that comes from nature.
Yeah.
But is it really natural? Is it
Yeah, it's the
organic and 1 for
flavor.
100? That's
Yeah.
one chocolate bar. We have a number of them on here, and they're
Yeah.
all tasty and yummy. I've eaten many of them many times. But now I'm
Yeah.
like, I want to eat something better.
Maybe not again.
Not
Yeah.
again. So I always say, hey, whatever you're eating out there,
Yeah.
really check it out.
Definitely.
Right?
No trick or treating.
Yeah. And if you can't pronounce it, you might want to look up what it is that you can't
Yeah.
pronounce, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I'll just give one thing to look for is like BHAs or BHTs. They're like a preservative. And so if you start label reading and read any of that, that's like somebody's poisoning you on purpose. Because atopicals or something like that is like a preservative that is all natural. So if somebody's still using BHAs, BHTs, stuff like that, they know what they're doing.
Oh,
And they're
yeah.
not there for your best interest.
No. Oh, that's the real.
I know, that's a real Halloween
The real
trick or treat. Eat my Kit Kat bar. Let's see what happens to you. Or anything else. Yeah. So I've got this. I'm gonna fish over my little cards here, right like this.
We actually have a question
Mm-hmm.
by Sandra Ullman.
Mm-hmm.
She said, how did you and your daughter react to that when you told her?
The same thing that my daughter always reacts. Oh yeah.
Just another day.
Yeah, just another day.
Well, we also why do we dress up as ghouls and monsters, and where did this come from?
Exactly. Well, she explained that it was like I don't think it's Samhain. It sounds like that, but it's Samhain or something like that.
Yeah.
That's what it's pronounced. Something like that. Forgive me, all you people out there, that's your thing, right? I don't know, right? It's not my thing. But that's where they do to ward off evil spirits. So where do the evil spirits come through? They come through the veil. So there they all are, dressed up as them to scare them, even though it's like, one time another short little story, right, is like my friend, he was over in Victoria, and the energies there are really good, and then there's a lot of demonic stuff over there, right? Ceremonies. And so he's there at this party, right, many years ago, and he's a shaman, and he is watching everybody, because that's what us kind of people like to do, is watch what's going on, right? And he's looking and pretending that he's like nobody, right? But he's looking at somebody dressed up as a vampire, and then he's watching a real vampire, watching the vampire dress her upper.
Oh no.
So there's your Halloween, right? The
Wow.
real spirits can come through the veil very easily, right? And then there's the other people that are all dressed up, that pretending to be that, they think it's all cool, but is it really?
Wow.
Creepy.
Yeah, very
That is
scary.
very creepy, but that's what goes on, right? I've seen some things.
Oh,
I felt some things. I know
Yeah.
some things, so I don't like to entertain the darkness, right?
Yeah.
And even as far as your emotions and your limiting decisions, it's really important that you be clean. Like look at your emotions and limiting decisions because it's attracting your environment and maybe causing you to create stuff that's not so good in your life. But if you're really a mess, right? Like anger, sadness, hate, revenge, all the sorts of stuff like that that really keep you in a low vibration.
Yeah.
What's happening is like some little spirit come along, whether it's a discarnate soul that is like maybe got a quick accident and out of its body, or couldn't find the light, or then there's like the demonics or the reptilians or
Yeah.
the ghouls, the vampires, right? And they look at you and they're like, you look tasty. There's your hate button. I'm just gonna poke it. Yeah, I'm gonna poke it right there.
Oh,
And then you get all hateful, right? And they're there with their straw sucking up all your energy because you're leaking it. That's why I say never to be emotional, because when you're emotional, you're leaking your energy everywhere.
Yeah.
And then you're drained at the end of the day. And then when you sleep, you get rejuvenated, right? And then how do you go through your day again? Do you get emotional and then
Yeah.
drain yourself till you could barely crawl into bed, to the point where you can barely get out of bed?
Yeah.
So, it's really very important, especially right now because the energy is getting so high, to just really pay attention to your emotions and what you're doing. And that will stop the other beings from the other dimensions, especially in the next couple of days, to be able to come and go, hey, Tasty, you're looking good. Which button am I going to push today, right? Because, these things are stuck all over
Yeah.
our body. People think, oh, they're in the chakras or this or that.
Yeah.
But really, I had one lady that she was carrying frustration on her shoulder
Yeah.
because she couldn't use her arm anymore and she needed it for everything, right? And so when we cleared the emotion of frustration, she like spoke up afterwards and said, all of my frustration was in my arm. It was like binding everything together because it's like stuck on the grids. Look at like we're holographic.
Yeah.
It was that frustration was stuck on her grid and not giving her much mobility. As soon as we let that energy go, her
Yeah.
arm moved.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
we
amazing.
debilitate ourselves. Like I've had amazing recoveries from people just by clearing their emotions.
Yeah, that's amazing. And what can I ask? What's the scariest thing that you've seen in the spirit world?
No, well, there's been many, many things, right? But
Yeah.
there was this guy one time. We had done a ceremony at my place, and it was in the afternoon, and the ceremony was over, and we're sitting outside just enjoying. It's just me, the shaman, and his wife, and this guy comes that he was left his car there through somebody else. They had to move, so he asked if he could put the car there. I put it down there, and then he shows up, and I'm like, "Who's this guy?" Right? And then he goes, "Oh, it's me. I've come for my car and everything." But he had the weirdest ears. They come back like really weird ears, right? And I'm looking at this guy, and it's probably the one and only time, because I don't look into people too much, but I was deep in ceremony, and so I'm looking at him, and it's just like I keep looking into the eyes, and wanting to see the truth of what it is, right? And his eyes went from blue until a point where I could see a little orange dot here, and then there was something very nefarious looking back at me, and I just was like, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Don't you have to go now?
Just leave my house.
Yeah. I was like, oh, and he was from where is that? Nelson area, and he goes, oh, you can pretty much find anything up there, right? And I was like, oh yeah, I won't be coming anywhere near there. But that was weird for me to be able to actually look into his
Yeah.
eyes. Most of the time, I just feel stuff, right? Like I don't want to look and see stuff.
Yeah.
Because I know when I see it, it's like, uh-oh, where's that, right? I've seen
Yeah.
a snake come into my office one time, right?
Oh.
And I was like, but it was in the spirit world, right? And I'm like, oh, there you are, right? And I could watch my dog watch it come in and up my table until it was in my face. And she was just looking at it like this,
So
right?
your dog can see. the spirit
Animals
world.
can see it all,
Yeah.
right? And so I just put a purple light around it and gold light and disappeared it, right?
Wow, that's so interesting. And can you tell that it's from the spirit world sometimes, or are you?
Yeah, because
think
it's not
real?
really a snake, right?
Yeah.
It's like I saw the part of its head like this. When you
Oh.
see stuff out of the corner of your eyes, then you're seeing what's in the spirit world.
I see.
Like today, my friend come, right, and he sat in his chair and he could see this white light go pshoo, and then
Oh,
over and in
wow.
behind, but it's a white light, so there's no need to be afraid, right?
Yeah.
And so I picked some cards from this deck for him, right? And yeah, and in it was like an opening, right, with a little white light in there. And the next one was angelic being, and it too had a little white light on the card, right? And the third one was on target. right? Which
Oh,
was just a target, which I thought
Yeah.
was very interesting because
Yeah.
he's always doing the bow and arrow thing, and
I
it's his gig, right?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like the nature shows us everything, right?
Wow.
So should we pick cards for what?
One more question.
Sure.
Oh, actually, two.
Oh, wow.
Someone said, why can animals see spirits? And then someone added on top of that, and kids can see it too, the spirit world. Why?
Kids, because they are fresh from the other side of spirit, right? So when kids come and say, Mommy, there's a monster under my bed, or there's this or that, I never ever shut my daughter down, right? And one time I
Yeah.
was going down, get the laundry, come back up, and she comes running out of our room. I'd always move into these terribly possessed houses, right?
On purpose?
No, definitely not. But she came running out of my room and hid like this behind the bathroom door, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"What's going on?" She goes, "There's a monster." And I'm like, "Where is it?" Right? And she
Yeah.
goes, "It's right there." And I had a raven, I had a dream catcher with raven feathers that I had found on it, right? And I could see the light. It got caught in the raven dream catcher underneath it,
Interesting.
and I could see the light bouncing off of it. So
Wow.
I didn't have a Merkaba then and know how to use it, but so I had some Huna symbols that like invites the thunder down and to release it, right?
Interesting.
And the animals will be the best healing clients ever because they just sit and they take it. But they also can see everything. They see absolutely everything, especially horses. I work with horses. They see everything about you. They'll take it all off. Everything.
Is that why they're so choosy and like they will like be mean to some humans but not mean to others?
Well, I wouldn't be saying that they're mean. I would be saying that they're demonstrating maybe there's some meanness in that person, or maybe something's going on. I'll give another little thing about that, right? So
Yeah.
I used to work with this group of 5 geldings right out in the field, and I
Yeah.
would take people out to them, right? And so I had this family, 2 sisters, the daughter, and then the mom,
Yeah.
right? And so the one girl, she comes out with me all the time, right? But so her other sister's there from Los Angeles, and she's very traditional. The one from Los Angeles, not so much. And then the mom was very traditional, right?
Yeah.
And so here comes my horse out of the stall like this, just determined, right? And we're like, oh, that's pretty interesting. And he's up one side and down the other, gets her to spin around, does the other side of her, on to the next one. All 3 just did this inspection and then walks over to the 80-year-old mom and goes, like she's gonna bite her. I'm like, okay, we got that right. I thought he was gonna bite that frail little like arm, the shoulder, right?
No.
And I'm like, okay, Scout, we got it. So
Yeah.
off he goes back to the stall, right? And we're talking,
Yeah.
right? And then back he comes again. We see his head come out, right? And we're like, oh. And there he comes even more forceful, right?
Yeah.
And then he comes and he does the exact same thing again, and then goes over to the lady's shoulder and goes just a little bit
Back
more.
at it again.
Exact same thing, right? So he went back again, right? And then the third time, like they say something in Punjab, and I have no idea. I don't speak Punjab. What did you say?
Yeah.
I will never ever let somebody do that again. Because I didn't get it, right? So back he come again. As soon as he stuck his head out, we're all like this,
no.
right? Here he comes, right? To do the exact same thing again. And then I find out afterwards, my friend Guggen told me what the mom was doing was saying, oh, you should get the horses or Lori to, make you lose some weight and get rid of that one's stomach and, put a longer neck on the granddaughter and stuff. And it was like,
wow.
and so what the horse was doing was showing that the grandmother and the mom was inspecting them all. Very critical. And then he went over to go, you.
Oh, interesting.
Right? So all he was doing was demonstrating. He wasn't wanting to hurt her or anything.
Yeah.
He was just demonstrating what she was doing.
Like a mirror, kind of like
Yeah.
reflecting how her attitudes were. So
Yeah.
maybe they'll understand. I
Yeah.
guess.
And I have dogs too, right? If certain people show up, right? They can tell that there's something not right.
Yeah.
And as soon as I've cleared them of the entities or whatever, the emotions and the entities that have been sucking off of those emotions, my dog comes up and sees them.
Wow.
So then I know my job's done, right? He's
Wow.
like there.
Your handy assistant.
My handy assistant, he's my telltale. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. And we get shut down because we get into fear. If you were to see something gnarly, come into this room, what would you do? Nothing to see here. Door.
time to
It might be
sleep.
locked. Is it blocked? Yeah, window, whatever. So we have to get rid of our fear because our fear is like allows him to go like this.
Yeah.
Like Carlos Castaneda, he had a book, The Fire from Within, right? And he was always playing tricks on Don Juan or on Carlos Castaneda.
Okay.
And so he comes in, but he's got this shadow that stayed at the door with him, right? And so he goes over and he's just talking and talking and talking. And then he can see that Carlos is looking like this, right?
Yeah.
And then he goes like this and he goes like, but he wasn't exuding fear.
Yeah.
He was just showing, right? And the thing come over and went like this and grabbed him and wouldn't let go. And so Carlos is having a really hard time, right?
Oh,
And Don Juan goes, maybe you could just recognize that it's there with no fear. And so as the fear went away, so did the grip, and off it went
Interesting.
back to the corner, right? So
Yeah.
it's super important. No fear. Even if you see something, no fear.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because they thrive on that, right?
That the all you can eat buffet.
we have last 2 questions that we can do today, and one of them is: do we get reborn? If we get reborn, then are we from like the other side? Like, what is this like when someone's born that they're coming from the other spirit world back to ours? Like,
Yeah.
are people reborn?
Yeah. So what I look at it like, because I teach people how to activate the Merkaba after I clear their emotions, right? And so what it is our Merkaba, whether it's activated or not, is like our suitcase. So we take all of our emotions, our limiting decisions, our traumas, everything, including some of the entities that are with us when we leave, we just pack them up in our suitcase and we leave. And then we go and look through our life. And then when we have to come back and be reborn again, it's like we unpack all of that stuff and hopefully we get an opportunity to clear our emotions, limiting decisions, and get some exorcism or exercising of all that darkness that's there.
Soul is like eternal.
A soul is eternal. People are so afraid of dying. I died once. I don't care. It's nothing. It's so peaceful on the other side. People are afraid of dying. The only thing is we leave all these people behind that mourn us.
Yeah.
But really, it's super peaceful there unless you're, done a lot of bad things. And I'm pretty sure that the stuff that's the same vibration of what you were doing on Earth is going to be catching you there.
Interesting. It's like the horses. You kind of get a reflection of how you've been.
Yeah.
I have one question,
Yes.
Lori. When we sleep,
Yeah.
is that the reality or is this the reality? Oh,
Very good question, right? What do you think?
when I'm in my dream,
Mm-hmm.
it seems like reality.
Yeah.
And in dream, I am with people who I might not see or meet
Mm-hmm.
or communicate with on daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
And those could be even dead people also.
Absolutely.
Relatives. My mother is in my dream almost every other day.
Mm-hmm.
But in my dream, I am living. It seems like it's so real.
Absolutely. The best time of dream time is that when you wake up in the morning and then you go back to sleep, that is really the best lucid dreaming time, right? And I've changed decks of cards, right? Just because I want to share.
But one thing I will say, when you go back to sleep, because if dream is too good,
Yeah.
and then you want to, okay, no, why did I wake up? I want to fall asleep again and continue. It's never the same dream.
It's never
Yeah.
the same,
I
right?
noticed that. You're like, I want to fix this part of my
I
dream.
want it. Yeah, well, stop wanting it.
But
You
then
woke up
you
for a
didn't
reason.
answer the question.
What's that?
So is that like what is reality?
Exactly. Oh, there's reality right there.
Even in our holy book, they say that this, when we are living,
Excuse me.
this is not true. This is not the truth.
Absolutely.
Like this world is fake.
Yeah. It's a fake
only
world.
temporary.
And it's only temporary. So if you knew it was fake and only temporary, and that your experience is based on your emotions, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want to be the best that you can be by looking at your emotions and your limiting decisions? I look at it like we're in the hologram. We're in an illusion. And when we're sleeping, that's the reality.
Yes.
And if it's a nightmare, good. Maybe it's like your unconscious mind wanted to give you something scary because it's got a message and it'll stick in there, right? And I always say 2 things about the dream time: no eating and no sex. And always ask for true form, because your cute, hot boyfriend or girlfriend might not be so cute in the true form.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So careful out there, kids. It's true. It's true.
It's so true.
And I only know because I've experienced that because I was on plant diet medicine through ayahuasca and through working with some of the plants that I work with. I work with tobacco and ahosacha. And it was scary because I had to master the dream time. And I was getting attacked in my dream time all the time, and then I would hear it and see it, right? And they would show their faces, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it's becoming the master of your dream time.
Can
So
you believe as we are talking, I just opened my phone
yeah,
and it's 444.
absolutely.
wow.
That's the beginning number of your spiritual awakening.
Oh, and it's can you believe like whenever I feel like my mom is around me, I will see a number that will tell me it's a message from my mother that yes.
Yeah.
Oh, someone actually just said, what if we can't remember our dreams?
You can't remember your dreams?
Yeah, that happens to me.
Sometimes that's a good thing, right? I'm going to save the unicorn story, right? But sometimes it's like, what happened one time is I went to the horse farm, right? You met Lori, right?
Yes.
And so she's walking by me, right? And she's got this on her face,
Now
right?
that's other Lori.
Yeah, that's the other Lori.
Lori.
Yeah, Lori was the one that owned the horse farm, right? Where I had my horse. And she's got something in here. And she's like, I saw you in the dream time last night. Or I was with you in the dream time last night, right? And I'm like, oh yeah? I says, what were we doing? She goes, we were killing bloodsuckers. And I'm like, oh. And she goes, yeah. She goes, I got so scared. I told you to get a better weapon, right? She said she had a pitchfork and I had a stick with a light on it, right? And she was trying to tell me to get a better weapon because she knew that thing, that female whatever vampire whatever was coming back to take us out, right? And when it came back, she scared herself so much she bit her lip and it was bleeding when she woke up.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, so you left me in the dream time with that thing? That was my answer, right? Because it's like, what did you do? And it's not the first time. People get scared and then they leave me. If I'm doing work with somebody, I like to know that they're going to stick around. Then I don't have to do it all myself, right? And you know what the lesson of that is? Stick to the light, right? When you got a pitchfork, you're asking for trouble, right? You want to fight, right? But I got a stick with a light on it, and the light is all powerful.
So I googled 444.
Yeah,
And there are a few messages, and I just picked one.
perfect.
And it says 444. The angels are surrounding you now. So we are surrounded by angels, reassuring you of their love and help. Don't worry because the angels' help is nearby.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Nice.
So I,
Dream time.
yeah.
Someone asked, how do you master dream time? You know, if it's so important, like how do we master it as like normal people?
So get a dream journal. I've never done that, right? I always like to do things my own way, right? So I'm like, I've done the mastery my own way, but they say get a dream journal. And when you wake up from the dream, right, you have to, before you do anything, get that dream journal and start writing it down. Because as soon as you even pull the covers back or have another thought, it's gone.
Or record it or something.
Record it, whatever
It's
you can
fleeting.
do. Yeah, it's fleeting, but you know, sooner or later, all that'll come back. And I always knew when I had medicine dreams, it was important. So I want to share this deck of cards with you. I got this at Infinite Serenity. I did an interview with Stephanie when I was doing pre-COVID. I did a few shows here. So this is the magic of the unicorns, and so this is a fun dream, right? And so I'm doing that thing in the morning, woke up, went back to sleep, and I'm immediately on this grassy knoll, right? This grassy hill, and there's a big rectangular, what I thought was a mirror, with a unicorn walking towards me in the mirror. So what do? You look over here. Oh, there's nothing there. It's just a valley. By the time I looked back out, this unicorn was coming out of the portal, which looked like a mirror, coming out of the portal, and comes up to me and puts his head like this and pulls me in and gives me a hug. And I woke up and I was like, I was just hugged by a unicorn. And because I work with the horses, it's like I got this book with the unicorns because they were coming in like I can feel them, right? And they come in and they help me to do work. So I work with the unicorns and the dragons and the fairies
And the horses in real life.
the horses come in spirit too, right? So I don't need to go shovel poop over there anymore. If I need them, I can just call them and I get the best part of them, right? The healing part.
The healing part, not the poop part.
Yeah.
Also, one last question. This is the last question
Yeah.
for today's live. It is, does our subconscious come out when we are sleeping? Are our dreams what we really think about people or situations?
I don't know.
So dreams are recorded in subconscious mind.
Yeah, I'm not sure because it's like what's the subconscious and what's the
Experiences are
unconscious.
recorded, sorry. The
Yeah.
experiences are recorded in subconscious mind, and those are shown to us through dreams. That's how I perceive it. That's
Yeah.
how I think of it.
I always think that whatever I don't like to admit to myself while I'm like conscious
Yeah.
is what comes out in dreams, and that's why I rely more on my dreams than I do what I think when I'm
Because it was still your brain recorded it.
yeah.
It
Especially
was still
with
there.
people.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
don't realize, you'll be like, oh no, that person's nice, it's okay, and then you'll sleep and they're like attacking you, killing you, and you're like, oh, let me just rethink about that.
But at the same time, you might think that person's really nice, right? And then something
Yes.
comes into your bedroom or into your dream time. Ask for true form because maybe they want you to not be around that person. So they're going to come in and scare you. Always true
interesting.
form. If you can remember 3 things: no eating, no sex, and true form. That's how that's how I mastered my dream time.
Ask them for the
Yeah.
true form or something.
Yeah, asking for the true form.
Interesting.
So it's
Wow.
universal law. They have to show you true form. And you'd be
Interesting.
surprised what you're hanging out with. So maybe whatever that, dark spirit, maybe what you're experiencing is the truth, but at the same time, always ask for true form because you never know. It might be some spirit that's hanging around or hanging around them. And maybe you have lots of light, right? And they don't want your light around that person. So then they're going to come into your dream time and give you a scare, and you're going to go, I'm not going around that person. But maybe that person really needed you for something.
So before you guys go, we have our sponsors. If you can please mention those names, please. They're helping us in our youth talent show.
Can I just, before we close, I just want to read this. It says,
Yes, please.
it's 11, number 11, which is also a power number. And it says, look for the signs, pay attention, and expect an answer. So it's really about what do we need to pay attention to, right? Like we need to pay attention to absolutely everything, especially the dream time. No food, no sex, true form. Master your, and with your emotions, always be aware of what you're thinking, saying, and doing, and master that. That's the trick. And we're gonna get a video of mine that I just got done. It's gonna be on Close Look, so people can see what it is that I do, that I've mastered. So Sanjana, if you could share.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone, please do attend our talent show, and we would love to thank our sponsors. So, City of Surrey, Nanny came from Sembo Foundation, One Step Solutions, Godchurn Expert Commercial Sales, Pip Daliwal, Freedom Capital, Uprise Reality, A Media, City Digital Media, and our DJ Sam Chimes, who will be live on November 21st at Surrey City Hall, so please do catch us there. More info is at closelook.ca, and to register, please go to our event page. You can win $500, and our new issue of Close Look magazine is out, so please do check it out online. And as mentioned, we could possibly win the Canada Ethnic Media Awards. Thank you so much for this. But yeah, no, congratulations to everyone who is working on the magazine. And yeah, thank you so much to our sponsors for making this a possibility.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. And so I just want to say thank you for attending. You just never know where my show's going to go. I never expected it to go in that direction.
Yeah.
From Halloween to dreams. And what kind of scary things come in the dream time. And now you know. Yeah. Now you know, right? What are they?
Dream time?
Dream time. What not to do in the dream time.
What? Okay. No sex.
No eating.
No eating and
True form.
and true form.
Yeah.
Ask for their true form.
And, before
they
you
have to.
before you go to bed, no chocolate latte.
Or
And read your label. So
they're gonna cut out that.
all right, thank you so much. I'm Lori Morningstar with Close Look Connections. Thank you for all the assistance, and we even got Simi in here today. Thank you, Sanjana. I love it.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you so much for having me, and thanks everyone for watching. Thank you, Close Look.
Aloha.